Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. And today's Doctor Who review is none other than the Sensorites. So, what's the Sensorites about? Well, the Doctor and Ian and Barbara and Susan land on a space station in which the crew seem absolutely baffled by everything that's gone on. They can't begin to remember what's happened. All they know is that an emergency has occurred. But with no proof that anyone has been on board the spaceship, the crew ask the Doctor and his friends to stay aboard and watch them as they sleep. Whilst this happens, the Doctor, Susan, Ian and Barbara suddenly notice that something is outside of the window, and it turns out that it's none other than a Sensorite. Now, what are the Sensorites, you may be asking? Well, they're telepathic beings that can talk outside of the normal principles of the mind. They can pretty much use their immense powers to influence and change people's opinions. They don't often use the cruel side of their power, however, but in this case, it seems that life has begun to shift, and the Sensorites have been trying to live in peace for so long that they don't want to be interfered with. Usually, they would harmlessly let the crew go off on their merry way, but it seems that a rogue version of Sensorites on the planet have come up with a more drastic option to eliminate those who get in the way. After being captured by a bunch of Sensorites, the Doctor and his friends end up down on the planet's surface and begin negotiations into a peaceful settlement that will hopefully allow the human race to live alongside the Sensorites without any further drastic action needing to be taken. But the rogue Sensorites are onto them, and as soon as they realise that the Doctor and his friends are there to make peace, it starts to foil all the pieces of their plan. So the only way to move forward with their plans is to put the Doctor and his friends out of the picture. The Doctor, Ian, Barbara and Susan are having none of it and begin to jump onto the case as soon as possible, catching the culprit before anyone else gets hurt. Sensorites applaud the Doctor for this and grant him freedom to come back to their world whenever he wants. However, the one Sensorite who went rogue is about to face a criminal sentence. Susan also points out that it's such a shame that it's come to this and that the diplomacy couldn't have been reached sooner. She also feels bad for the Sensorite people, as it paints them in a bad light to the rest of the universe, in which the Doctor points out that eventually, knowing the telepathy and the intelligence of the Sensorites, they should be able to branch out into the wider universe without any worry of any threat. Well, at least for now. So, what is my overall score for the Sensorites? It's a solid story. It's a kind of base under siege story with a great bit of grounding to how the characters evolve. Honestly, the Sensorites kind of remind me subtly of the Ood. I feel like they may have inspired the Ood to become what they are today. And I feel like without the Sensorites, I feel like we wouldn't be on the path we are today with a lot more of these telepathic aliens. And for that reason, I give the Sensorites a solid 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next Doctor Who review. Until then, goodbye, stay beautiful, and have an incredible day.